we're going, and we're here again with Victoria from the UK. And it's been, gosh, 2 weeks, I think, since you and I have talked together. And
yes,
you've had a lot of just real life stuff come up in the last 2 weeks. And I'm hoping you'll share with us kind of some of the stresses that came up, the good stuff that's come up, how this has impacted you, what maybe emotionally came up around food or not, and how you navigated this, because this is the real success of working with a coach is making sure that it survives real life, not just theoretical. And so tell us about what's been going on, Vic.
Yeah, so the baseline is that I was very busy anyway. So I had already got a schedule that was very busy. I knew I was probably overdoing it. I had lots of Rotary meetings in the evenings as well. So I was already going to be very busy. And then we throw into there. We had our wedding anniversary, which was lovely, 3 years, and I kind of hadn't really planned the celebration very well. On that particular day, one of my dogs was really, really poorly, and we ended up at the emergency vets for most of the morning. And in the evening, my husband said that he really fancied some Chinese food. Now, I could have been a lot more sensible and engaged my brain and thought, okay, I can have Chinese food. I will have this. I'll have that. But we just ordered what we used to order. We probably haven't had Chinese food for 6 months, or if not even more than that. So we just kind of went mad and ordered, and I ate. We had crispy duck and pancakes and the chicken with cashew nuts, and I did eat some rice, and I just wasn't thinking very straight, and we drank wine. And I even said afterwards, you know, a couple of times when I've been out celebrating, and I loved the fact that I didn't have that horrible bloated feeling afterwards.
Yep.
And I knew as soon as I had overindulged, I had that feeling back, which I haven't had for ages. And I was just like, oh, I know I've eaten too much. I know I've drunk too much. This was supposed to be a celebration, and now I just feel terrible. And I was hungover the next morning, and not just hungover on alcohol, but hungover on the food that I'd eaten. And it took a day of rest afterwards, drinking lots of water, and trying to rehydrate myself. So that was something that I kind of felt I had let myself down by just not being very well prepared for that. Okay. And something that was supposed to be a really nice celebration, I ended up making myself feel ill. So that was that. So both my dogs have been very ill, and we've been to the vets numerous times. We've had blood tests and all kinds of things going on. So that's been a bit stressful. And then add on to that, my dad being very poorly, as you know, and now we're preparing him to go and have some quite serious surgery. So it's just been an emotional roller coaster, I think is probably the best word to describe it. I've kept up my exercise, which has been really good. I have been with military precision on my exercise, and I've even done some extra classes. In fact, I'm on my way to the gym now, which is why I'm on the side of the road, because I was hoping I would get there in time to talk to you there, but I didn't. So that has been a constant, and that has been something that has been very good. The fact that this is happening at this time, so that has been good. And on the whole, my food has been good, apart from the anniversary day. And it's kind of just falling into place now. I don't have to think about it too much. So that has just become part of sort of like the routine, I guess. So yeah, that's been it. It's just been hectic. There's been unexpected stuff. I kind of knew, oh, maybe I could have not packed my schedule so much so that I can take the unexpected, you know, as it comes. It was just bad planning, a bit too ambitious, and yeah, that was it.
And real life.
Real life, yes, absolutely.
It's real life. Life is not convenient. Yes. And I want to first of all commend you for, you and I haven't talked for 2 weeks, and so that's also, as much as you have grown and as good as you're doing, there's still even a little bit of a dependency, right?
Yes.
That we have. There's a balance and a check. So I want to commend you so much for all that you've been doing, because sweetie, this is just real life. And we have
Yeah.
talked about this from the beginning. Stuff is going to come up, including
Yeah.
your anniversary and your dogs and
Yes.
overpacking your schedule, because you're a very ambitious, driven person. This is just real life. And other than you overindulging on your anniversary, which again, real life, it sounds like you're doing great.
Yes. There are some other big things which are very good, which I'll tell you about in a bit, that
Mm-hmm.
have happened. But I guess some of the negative stuff weighs a bit heavier than the good stuff sometimes, and I think that's what's happened as well. I focused on the struggles rather than the good stuff.
So, as weird as this may sound, uh, the overindulgence on the anniversary dinner, one of the really positive things that's a result of that is you have cleaned up your diet so much from a balanced standpoint, in terms of you're eating a way that supports the way you want to feel, that improves your energy, that improves your cognition, that allows you to exercise, that actually lifts you up instead of dragging you down, from blood sugar to chemical feeling to whatever it is. But it's really important, even at this process of our relationship, that the hangover that you felt is it's not just a hangover from alcohol. This is a food hangover.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's very good for you to actually experience this right now, because you can go, man, I just don't like feeling that way.
Yeah.
Right? And when you're feeling so good, this is one of the things that is so difficult for me to explain to people who haven't felt good in a long time because of food. When you find that recipe that you can carry through, and you get used to feeling so good, one of the reasons it's so easy to stay eating the way I eat is it's not militant. It's not discipline. It's because I don't like feeling like crap.
Yes.
It
Well,
just sucks.
that feeling of crap was actually how I felt all the time once.
Yeah, me
That
too.
constant
Been there.
that constant lethargy and feeling of bloated and
And fog.
gas as well. It was just, that's how I was all the time. So the fact that I allowed myself to feel like that briefly, and I
Yep.
bounced back, I didn't feel good the next morning, but I did bounce back during that day, and then
Yep.
life was back to normal again. So
Yep.
my normal state of being is good now, and
Yep.
then I dipped into what wasn't good, and then came back out of it again. So I can't imagine. Well, I knew how I felt all the time when I had that horrible feeling all the time.
Yep.
And gosh, no wonder I felt miserable.
And you know what's interesting is this will happen again, because it's just life. You're going to come in, you're going to go somewhere, you're going to try something, somebody will say, oh, try this and see what it's like. And you'll have felt so good for so long that that you'll forget what it feels like to be in this food flu hangover state, because you get
Yes.
used to feeling so good, and little things will come in and you'll go, oh yeah, no, I remember the last time I did that, but it had been so long, it'll be like, and you'll re-experience it again. This is life. But this is also one of the things that keeps you on track down the road, and why this new lifestyle of eating does become effortless.
Yes.
Because when you get to feeling good every single day, it's just not worth it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, we just got back from a trip to Lebanon, and we were there for 8 days. And what I thought was funny is, before we left, Michael said to me, he says, I'm a little bit worried about you on this trip. And I'm like, what do you mean? We're going to Lebanon. I'm not afraid anymore. It's like, I'm looking forward to it. And he goes, no, I'm a little bit worried about the food for you. And I said, well, gosh, they eat olives and cheese and olive oil, and they roast their meats, and they eat all sorts of fattoush salads and stuff. What are you worried about? So I said, don't you worry about it. You know, he said, yeah, but they eat a lot of bread. And so this was an interesting thing. So we go, and every single meal, bread, 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 but all this other stuff. The way they make tabbouleh, for example, has no grain in it, like we make it here in this country that tends to have bulgur and quinoa and stuff. They just make it with the parsley and the spices and the tomato and the fattoush salad and the meats. I ate baba ganoush, and I ate stuff every single day slathered in olive oil. And they serve bread with bread, which was, you know, they fry it, they bake it, they serve the bread roll, they serve the bread stick, they serve the bread, the flat bread. And what was really interesting is I know for myself, and they ate sweets. Oh my gosh, lots and lots of sweets, especially they ate lunch late in the day, and then they ate dinner late at night. So all of that throws things off the schedule. But the idea of figuring out how to eat isn't so that you've got a regimen that you fall into all the time. That's not the point. It's about how to navigate life in a realistic way so that you can do the things in life you want to do. And there were a lot of times in the 8 days that we were there that people were that people like, oh, you've got to try this. Oh, you've got to try this. And I didn't make a big deal about it. It's just, no, thank you. No, thank you. I, you know, I didn't eat bread the whole time. And it wasn't like, oh, you know, I didn't eat bread the whole time. I just knew how it would make me feel bringing this in. And as a result, lack of sleep, way too much wine every single day, but their wine is also different. It's not high sugar content. It's not high alcohol content. You can drink glass after glass, not advocating this, just saying, but we drank a lot of wine, never hungover, nothing. Didn't even get like drunk, of course, happy, but didn't get drunk. It's just different. I actually came back lighter than when I went, which again, it's not a testament. It's just the reality. When you figure out how to navigate this, it's easy. You can do anything. And I didn't dive into the sweets. One of the hardest things that tends to happen when you travel, I think, especially when you're doing cultural experiences, right? And people want to share so much of their culture with you, is you don't want to offend anybody. And it's really about how you respond when they offer you something. And again, the sweets and the bread. People kept saying, oh, you got to try this. Oh, you got to try this. And I just kept saying, thank you, but no, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you. I'm fasting this morning, right? And I just don't make a big deal about it. There was one place we went to, and it was a school. And we were doing a water project there with the local Rotary clubs. And the teacher, we spent quite a bit of time with them, and she just insisted. She would not let us leave without taking these special cookies. So we took the cookies. No big deal. It was just so important to her that she'd be able to share something with us. And so we took the cookies, and I shared them with somebody else later, right? So you just figure out ways to do this. But that's life. Life goes on. And, you know, maybe you'll never eat Chinese food again, or maybe it'll be 2 years and you go, oh, man.
It might be.
I don't like the way that makes me feel. Chinese food tends to be one of those foods. I love Thai food. Oh,
yes,
love Thai food. But Chinese food tends to be one of those foods that has lots of sauces. And a lot of the red sauces and the brown sauces, and there's high fructose corn syrup, and there's wheats, and there's glutens, and there's all sorts of binders and stuff that they use. That combined with the different types of sodium creates the gas and the bloating and the water retention and all that kind of stuff, and the extra calories and the brain fog because of the fructose corn syrup. But I'm still glad you had the experience this far into it.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, was there anything during all of this that's going on, and I realize it's not over yet. You've still got, your dad is coming up for the surgery. You're very busy with work in Rotary. What was a real, if there was there any sort of a emotional thing that maybe came up about I'm stepping backwards, I'm did any of these old cycles start to come in? Any?
The, there was an eating thing that was playing on my mind while I was cooking. So I was cooking all this really good food, and there was something, and I can't really put my finger on exactly what it is, that was saying, eat more than you need to, and I can't explain it. And what my train of thought was that I was cooking all this healthy food, and if I wanted to eat more of it, it was the healthy stuff, so I will eat a little bit more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was allowing myself to satisfy that feeling, but I was thinking, well, this is all really good healthy food, so I will eat a little bit more to pacify this feeling. It's not like I was reaching for the milkshake, or it wasn't like I was, you know, reaching for the pre-packed sandwiches. It was, well, this is all healthy food anyway, so why can't I just have a little bit more of it?
Right.
And that's what happened. And I remember just putting a bit more on my plate than I perhaps usually would, but it did kind of satisfy this. I could tell it was the emotional thing coming back of the devil and the angel,
Yep.
saying, eat a bit more than that, eat a bit more. And then I was like, well, I will, because I'm making a salad, and it has, and I've made my own dressing, and I know it's all good, so I will eat a little bit more of it.
Right.
And so it was a bit of it. And then I was like, should I have done that? I don't know, but it got me through. I could have done worse. I could have reached for something else, but instead I just had a slightly larger portion than I perhaps would have normally had.
Good
And
for
then
you.
and then the feeling went away.
Good.
The feeling went away because I did satisfy it in
Good.
some way.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, but it wasn't reaching for the chips like I would have done before. It was thinking, oh, I'm making all this nice healthy food, then I'll just eat a bit more of it. And that I did notice came in a couple of times.
Good. Good. There's something that's very I have found cathartic about taking time to prepare your food.
Mm.
And there's so many things that go on in this process. It's yep, I'm working for me, I'm making something good, I'm supporting what I want to do. It also slows things down, especially when you get used to eating in a way that supports the way you want to feel. I got to keep working through this because I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel good. Yes, I'm really hungry right now, but I'm going to feel good. I'm just going to keep doing this. And I have found that that's as much preparation as working myself up to go to the gym, in terms of how it also supports actually taking that time to prepare the food for yourself is another way to take care of yourself and nourish yourself emotionally.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So what other devil and angel incidents came up, if any?
No, I don't think. I can't think of anything specific that I noticed as much as I did the eat more than you should thing that came up. Again, I think a lot of it was because I was so busy.
Yeah.
As well, there was no boredom. There was no looking for food to eat. Like my husband used to say, I was like a caged lion sometimes when I was like, right, what can I eat? And I'd be, pacing around. That I just didn't have time to do any of that. So I think being busy was a good thing.
So that's also interesting because when we first started working together, your busyness was an avoidance mechanism. I mean, you're a busy driven person, but you also used it all the time. Keep things going, keep things going, keep things going.
Yes.
Right. So your busyness now, in addition to the real life stuff, is actually bringing other things in that you want to do. And yes, they're keeping you busy, but it's not really an avoidance mechanism.
No. A lot of the things I've been busy with over the last 2 weeks have been new things that have come in because I've freed up some headspace. I have freed up some capacity within me to do some new stuff. So I think, there's a couple of extra committees that I've been more involved in and things like that. And I think it's because they're new projects that I've started. And I didn't say no when I should have done. When people were saying, "Oh, what evenings are you free? Because we need to have a meeting." Um, I gave in, whereas usually I would say, "Well, nothing for the next 2 weeks." That's usually my rule. There's definitely nothing this week and possibly nothing the week after. But I caved in and said, "Oh yeah, okay, I can do this Wednesday," when really I would never have usually done that. That's breaking my own rule.
Mm-hmm.
So I made myself busy. And that wasn't an intentional thing. That was just me not strong enough to be able to say, it's going to be a couple of weeks before I can see you. That
Right.
was just, yeah. It just, new projects. I didn't want them to have to wait for another 2 weeks. I perhaps should have done it over I could have done a conference call or something like this, but I was traveling and I went to see them, and yeah, it was just a little bit more thought would have been, would have helped.
And still through all of this, you're not stopping for milkshakes,
No, I haven't even
picking up
thought
that
about that.
sandwich.
In 2 weeks, actually, I think this is probably the first time when I mentioned a milkshake a couple of minutes ago, was the first time I'd even thought about it, even on some of those bad days that I'd had. This is the first conversation we've had about a milkshake. That's
Wow.
good.
That's really good. That's
Oh,
good.
I lie. I tell a lie. Apart from on Saturday, I was at uh, a May fair, and there was a milkshake stand, and I did walk past it, and I just went, there's a milkshake stand. It flashed through my mind, but it didn't create an issue for me.
Right.
Um, but yeah, other than that, I haven't thought about it.
Also a nice thing, because in the past, maybe that would have been something. Should I, shouldn't I, should I? Maybe I'm going to get it. Maybe I'm not going to get it, but it's
No,
not there.
no, I gave it a sideways glance as I walked past, and then carried on, and that's why I'd forgotten about it, I think.
God, you are just doing
Yeah.
so well on so many aspects of this. And the emotional side of it really, really is the crux of moving forward.
Mm,
I said in the beginning, and I just had a call with a new client before we got on. And what we talked about was, it's not about, I can give you a diet to eat and follow religiously, I can get you to go to the gym, but until we deal with the emotional side of
mm,
it, nothing will change, nor will it
yes,
ever be sustainable. It's not possible.
yes. Yeah, and breaking those habits, which had just become, that's just what they were. They were just habits. It was my sort of system that I had created, and he just needed to break it.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, it would just carried on and carried on. And I suppose it's been a quite good test over the last couple of weeks, because I could have easily slipped back into picking up some of those habits. It would have been easy to do that, but it didn't happen. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of like even more embedded the fact that I have overcome all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the combination of not only overcoming it emotionally, you've, through this entire process, um, consciously and subconsciously, recommitted to yourself, maybe in a way that as a younger person you didn't know you actually needed to do.
Mm,
You've made decisions, and you're continuing to make decisions that say, no, I want this kind of a life, I want to feel this way, I want to be able to do this.
mm,
And to be able to break down those habits, to confront those habits, to replace those habits, and to break a lot of the food chemical addiction, which
mm,
is a challenge. It's a drug. It's like alcohol. There
mm,
is an addictive quality to those things, the keeping
mm,
you in a haze and a fuzz. These things aren't accidents, right? The way you feel
mm.
now and the way you used to feel, the way you felt after eating that Chinese food, you can see how it is possible to become altered.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't think the same way, you don't act the same way, stuff starts to get messy. And when you do that for long enough, that is still one of the biggest challenges with food for people is, alcohol is very easy to get an effect in a very short
Mm,
period of time. Same thing with drugs, depending on what the drug, aspirin. right? And aspirin, you got a headache, you take some aspirin, your headache goes away. It's that fast. Food tends to be a slow, silent, methodical buildup. Little things at a time, little things at a time, little things at a time, to the point where you don't know where it really started, and it's hard to figure out how to end it. So
Yes.
again, kudos to you.
Thank you.
Now here's a big question.
Yeah.
Did your glucometer ever come, and are you
Yes.
monitoring?
It has come, but I haven't started monitoring yet. It is physically in my presence. But on that subject, something has shifted in my blood glucose. I took I've been taking some readings last week just by doing the finger pricks, and I'm waking up in the morning with a reading of 7, which is it's shifted. I think it started shifting maybe about 10 days ago, all of a sudden, and then during the day I have been between 6 and 6.5.
Yes.
And my doctor always said if you got down to 6, then they would consider changing my insulin or taking me off
Yes.
the insulin. But that wasn't a gradual thing. That
Nope.
when I first started seeing those figures all the time, it's all the time. I thought, well, there must be something wrong. But we recalibrated my little reader, and it's right. It's right. And I use my husband as a sort of benchmark, and he tests as well, so we can double check.
Good.
And so that is a real massive shift that's just happened. Yeah, I think in the last 10 days.
This is really good news, which means you're on the road to an insulin-free life.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. That's just reminded me of something else I need to tell you, but we'll do that in a minute.
Okay.
I haven't made an appointment to go back to see my doctor. I know they said they wanted to see me in May, so I am due. So I think probably as soon as I can get myself attached to my monitor, I can then show him what a massive difference it has from 6 months ago. And
which
if he
is
says I can,
this and again, this is really, really huge. So you getting connected to that. So I want to break, I'm sorry I interrupted you, and I'm going to keep interrupting you because this is really important for people to understand. When you've carried around a certain amount of weight for a long period of time, not only you started feeling better, your energy shifted, you're exercising, but your body still has a fat to muscle to bone ratio.
yes.
And your organs, which have been working extremely hard to support the excess, need time to adjust. That's what, none of this happens overnight. Just because you're eating good for 6 weeks doesn't mean everything shifts. Your body has to work in stages. The fact that you breached the plateau, this is really, really good. And this time frame is really, really good because now what we're seeing is that you actually have another benchmark. This is about how long it took. This is where the weight shifted. And as you continue to improve your health and welfare and your diet, and your weight naturally comes off, which is just a side effect of eating better. This will continue to improve, and you will be able to get off this medication very, very soon, I'm pretty sure. So start monitoring because this is a big, big deal, Vic.
Yes, yeah. It's I remember my doctor saying that 6 would be the if it was consistently at 6. I'm pretty sure that consistently at 6, then they would look. And I'm sure if I went and said, please let me come off it, and let me try, let me prove to you I can do it. I'm pretty sure I could be quite convincing.
Yeah, but if you've got that documentation that's showing, so even right now, just keep monitoring what you're monitoring because, again, not being a doctor, the sooner you get off of this, think about that. For you got put on this in December?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. The possibility of you being off of this in just a few short months is huge.
Yes.
And in terms of your health and wellness and longevity and your organ health, the fact that you were able to correct this in less than a year.
Yeah.
Think about that. Just through changing your eating, breaking through some habits, and increasing some exercise in your lifestyle, you are now improving the quality of the rest of your life.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And with my measurements, we finally got around to doing my measurements. The biggest change has been around my stomach, the fat that's all around my stomach. And I had lost 5 inches
Woohoo!
from around my stomach.
Wow. And that's a storage area, right? That's
Yeah.
one of the places that the body just naturally stores. It's the easiest place to put in there, which increases risk for cardiovascular disease and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah. So that's the bit that has gone down the most. Yeah.
Wow.
There was a couple of inches off other places as well. Everything had gone down, but the real noticeable difference, and I notice it in my trousers. I'm always like hitching them up now and turning the waistbands down. I don't know where that all came from that used to fill them all, you know. So yeah, all those kind of things are very noticeable. But yeah, we actually got the tape measure out and did the measurements, and it was about 5.5 inches,
Oh my gosh, fantastic. Fantastic.
which is huge. The one thing that was worrying, I went and had my eyes tested just before you went away. I
Mm-hmm.
did get the results back, and there were signs of diabetic retinopathy in the back of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a letter, and it said, you don't need to do anything at the moment other than manage your diabetes. It said you don't have to have any special treatment or anything. You just have to manage your diabetes. And I've got to go back in another year to have a test.
Another reason to get off the insulin as soon as possible,
Yeah.
if your doctor allows it, because all of these things, again, and that's the importance of understanding the difference between a type 1 diabetic and a type 2 diabetic. Is a type 2 diabetic is someone who actually has a functioning pancreas that is producing insulin, but you're having to assist it, which creates other hosts of issues versus
Yes.
somebody who's a type 1 who does not actually produce any insulin.
Yes.
So getting this rectified as soon as possible also will have an impact on that issue.
Yes.
When you're not categorized as a diabetic anymore.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that would be great. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what's next for you?
Keeping on, keeping going. Getting through the next week. So Dad, he has his surgery, and I'm going to be away from home, and I'm going to be with my mother 24/7 for 4 days, which is going to be a big test in itself.
Does your hotel room have a refrigerator?
No.
Can you get one?
I have my mini fridge that I took to conference with me.
Okay.
I got that, so that will be fine. But I also know, now I'm an adult, I know, and I see trends in my mother. So when I first said, well, look, it would be much easier if we stay in a hotel nearby, the first thing my mum starts doing is looking at the restaurants that are nearby, and oh, we could go here and we could do this, and there's a cinema and we can go and have ice cream. And that's exactly, I recognize that trait in her. So I just need to be very, very strong. The whole mother-daughter relationship, we don't spend that much time with each other.
Right.
We are now going to be with each other, and not only that, but it's going to be in a high emotional situation with Dad being in hospital.
Right.
So that's
right.
that will be a test, but I think I just need to head down and get on with it.
And so you're basically going to take care of her and take care of you.
Yes.
But you're going to be taking care of her. And it's natural that your mom is going to be the mom she's always been, which is the loving mother who's trying to support her daughter, who's probably scared, I would assume, is scared.
Yes.
And I know you probably know this, but I'm going to say it out loud anyway. Just remember, no matter what difficulties come up, it's not about you at all.
Yes.
It never has been. And you can't eat to make your mom happy, and you can't not eat to make your mom happy.
Yes.
So you can look at the restaurants nearby, just like whenever you go someplace now and you go, oh yeah, we can go here because I can have this. We can go here because I can have this. Mom, you want an ice cream? Let me get that for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. She also knows how well I've done, and she is in constant admiration of the changes that I've made. So I do think that she knows what is in my best interest as well.
Which doesn't mean it won't be a trigger. And if there is some friction that does come up, and I'm going to use my example again, was at Christmas time. There was an emotional thing that was going on with my mom and I that had nothing to do with food at all, but it was I can't even do anything for you. It was a mother-daughter thing. You won't even drink my coffee, sort of stuff, which had nothing to do with anything other than some other emotions. Don't eat for her. Don't not eat for her. Just let the things go, and buy her an ice cream. If walking around with you and having an ice cream is a big deal, buy her the ice cream and have a green tea. Who cares, right?
Yes.
If that's really important to her, buy her the ice cream. And it sounds like, from what you've told me of some of the other previous stuff you've got going on, that she really does get that you're making changes. Maybe, as difficult as the situation could be, this is a chance for the two of you to reinvent your relationship around this sticking point too.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I did think, gosh, this is going to be a long time for Mum and I to be together, also without a distraction of anybody else. Okay, when we go to the hospital, Dad will be there, but most of the time we're not going to be at the hospital. So this will be, it could be a really great time, and it is the first time that I can't even remember the last time it was just me and my mum on my own. So I'm going into it looking at it through a lens of what's happened in the past, not necessarily with a fresh set of eyes, which I probably should do.
Yeah. And it's really history is what brings us to the point we're at on any given day, right? But it's that present moment that really makes a difference, because we can dream about tomorrow, but the truth is the only thing that really makes a difference is the interactions we have right here, right now.
Yes.
Because everything that could happen is a result of that, and everything that has happened is done.
Yes.
So any of the things that come up, any of the triggers, any of the problems, they've happened, they're done.
Yes.
Let's make it something new that we can both enjoy, because you're lucky to have your mom still in your life, and she's very lucky to have you. And here's another chance for you to go, wow, we really do have a lot in common, and we love each other, and get rid of the crap that didn't work for a long time.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And there's a 24-hour gym next door.
There you go.
So my mum looked up the restaurants, and I looked up to see where the nearest gym was.
Look
and
at
I thought that was
you.
I thought that was very good for me.
I love that. Wow.
Yes. So right next door, 24/7. So I thought, well, even if I sneak out during the night, I'll still get a bit of a workout in.
Yeah. Or make, maybe she's going to need a little time on her own. Say, hey, Mom, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour or so. Want to go grab a coffee afterwards, or you want to do something, or do you want to come with me maybe? But I need to get this in, because it's important for my emotional health with everything that's going on as well.
Yes. Yeah. I think you would have been very proud of me if you'd have seen me at my first Body Blast class. That was the one that I can see when I'm on the exercise bike. I can see through a window, and there was people doing burpees, and then I was like, oh no, I couldn't do that. Anyway, I just thought, crap, let's just go in there. And and I did it, and I just did my version of things. I have never seen my face go the color that it went. It was so red when I came out and looked in the mirror. I thought, gosh, that's got my blood surging a bit.
Yeah.
And at one point I actually felt like a turtle lying on my back. I couldn't get back the right way. But I didn't care anymore what anybody thinks, or and there were other people in there who were also having the same problems that I was. I tend to think it's only me, and it's not. And so there was plenty of laughing and helping each other up and things like that. But I've done it twice now, and I was going to do a third one later on. So
good for you.
I'm getting more confident in there.
And you know what's so cool about that is I still go to the group classes, and the reason I love them so much is because it doesn't matter how well conditioned you are. There's going to be good days and bad days,
Mm.
and there's something about this group pushing each other, because
Yes.
you're going to come in one day and you're going to blast through it, and the other person who's normally blasting through it is like, oh God, I'm dragging, I can't get through this.
Yes.
That's the way it is, but it's good because you just keep pushing each other on.
Yes. Yeah. And I've been doing loads and loads of swimming. I think I've probably swam every day. If I
Wow.
have been for a workout and then just had a bit of a swim afterwards, or I've done an aquarobics class. So, but the swimming, I'm getting much better at it as well. I'm working much harder, and I start timing myself and things like that. So know that I'm doing my lengths quicker than I was doing it before. So
Good for
I think
you.
swimming is definitely my go-to thing for that I kind of crave more than I do going to the actual gym and working out. I think I want to get back in that pool.
Which is awesome for your joints.
Yes, yeah.
But
And my feet, they got to about 98%, and then I had a little backwards step, and they started hurting. But what has made the biggest difference is that YouTube video that you sent me about the stretches.
mm-hmm.
So I do those stretches when I go in the pool. I lean up against the wall of the swimming pool, and stretch my calf out, and I do it at the angle that they
Mm-hmm.
were talking about, and that seems to have made a massive difference.
Good.
And I was on my feet for 10 hours on Saturday at this fair where I was running the stall, and my feet really hurt afterwards. And when I got home, I said to my husband, "Oh, I've damaged them again. I know I have." But the next morning they were fine. They were
Hmm.
absolutely fine.
Wow.
Um, but I think 10 hours on your feet for anybody is a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I made sure I was wearing my trainers and really supportive footwear. But I couldn't even take the dogs for a walk in the evening. I said my feet are hurting so much, and I'm so worried that I've damaged them. And then I was amazed. I woke up in the morning and there was no pain at all.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was just that one. And they're not too bad. And my knees are a bit achy, but on the whole, it's been a slow improvement, but they are getting better.
So ask your trainer about hip bridges,
Mm.
to see about bringing that in to start to activate your glutes a little bit more to
Mm.
support your legs. It takes some of the pressure off of not
Yeah.
only your lower back, but it'll help with quad and knee pressure.
Mm.
And they're very targeted exercises. They're easy to do. You only have to do 10 or 12 of them. And it's another way you're moving in that direction already to continue to support that whole chain, as you're doing more,
Mm.
because your activity is just increasing, and we want to keep reactivating things as your body's coming alive again in all these
Mm.
different areas. I'll make a note here about a hip bridge. I'll see if I can actually even find a really good video for it. It's very simple,
Mm.
easy to do. It relieves the back pressure and then helps everything else down the chain from there too.
Yes. Yeah.
So before I end our recording, is there anything else you want to say to prospective people out there, about your journey, about what's next, anything that you want to share?
Probably more than I could even say in a couple of minutes. It's it is life changing. If I think about what would have happened had I not started on this journey, another 6 months of feeling miserable and another 6 months of feeling physically hurting. I really hate to think what would have happened. I'd have probably been pumping myself with more insulin and getting worse. Yeah, I'd have been a very unhappy person, very unhappy. But actually, flip that right over on its back, because as I heard a phrase that somebody said. I won't be able to remember it now. They said something like, "When is the best time to plant a tree?" And the answer is 10 years ago, but the second best time to plant a tree is right now. And that's what I thought. Well, yeah, the best time to work on myself would have been 10 years ago, but the second best time is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of really struck a chord with me, because I thought, yeah, okay, you missed your first chance, but now this is your time now to do it. And I think, well, if I can come through what I've come through, anybody can do it with the right kind of support and the right kind of knowledge. I think that's a big thing as well, is to make sure that you are armed with the facts and not stories that other people have told you. It's worth questioning what you believe, what you've been told. Because I would have just been carrying on being told, you need your insulin, you've got to do this, you should be eating a balanced diet of grains, and it's worth questioning it.
Good, good. Well done, Vic.
Yeah, and we've still got our challenges for next summer of doing the canoeing, and we're coming on with that. I've probably got about 10 other people who want to do it with me, so that's going to be a good thing for next summer, and maybe some other challenges that we're talking about for the year after. So yeah, that's all quite exciting.
And who knows what you're going to do after that? There's so many things. Every time you do one thing, you go, wow, I did that, and that was a lot of fun. Who knows? I'm going to go try this.
Yes.
I'm just so very proud of you, and I know that you taking this journey with me has been. I wake up inspired and excited to talk to you, because you've made so many changes, and I know that the quality of your life has. It's not just improved, it's expanded. And it's not because I want it for you, but it's because you want it for you, and you're doing this for you. So I'm just so proud of you.
Ready. I was absolutely ready for it. And I think you probably have a little window of readiness. And if I hadn't have done it then, I don't know when my next little window would have been. Mm-hmm. But that was absolutely the right time to do it. And there's no going back either. Mm-hmm. It's still learning, and surrounding myself with my supporters as well, the people that want me to do really well. And you find that you have those that those that do support, but there's also those who are not so interested, so I try and gravitate towards all the supporters now, and it's good.
And the ones who are not so interested are probably struggling with their own with their own stuff, which is okay. It's just not their time yet, or they're not ready to hear it, but there may be a time.
Yeah, and it has helped. It has certainly helped with my confidence in my job as well. I think I speak with so much more confidence, and I see results with my clients as well. I've had some fantastic testimonials coming in recently, which again inspires me when I see my clients doing so well too. So.
Well, and you've been able to even expand some of the realm of your own business in terms of how you coach with clients, because mental health and wellness is actually wholly encompassing. It requires wellness throughout the entire body as well.
Yes.
It's not just one thing. All of this, we are a system. Nothing is completely isolated. We are a complete system.
Yeah. And I always used to avoid talking about that. I always used to avoid talking about the physical health. I would say, well, oh, no, I specialize in mental health, not necessarily in physical health. But now I feel perfectly qualified in saying, well, look at my journey. So yeah, let me share that with you as well. And I can meet people on a different level as well, not just talking about the mental health.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you, sweetie. And
thank you.
I'm going to share this video. I want to thank you for your openness and your honesty. And you've been helping so many people. So I do want to share this video as well within the group and on YouTube, because of all the different things that have come up. And while we're near the end of our journey, from a coaching standpoint, you and I are going to be friends forever. And I'm always here for you. And
thank you.
I'm going to be there at all your milestones. You better believe.
Thank you. Yes. Well, that means a lot to me.
Thank you so much.